Have you ever thought about the fact that there is a way of carrying yourself that can make a woman feel comfortable, relaxed, and deeply connected to you within just a few moments? The interesting part is that it has nothing to do with being rich, famous, or unusually attractive. You do not need expensive clothes, a luxury car, or a long list of accomplishments. You do not need clever lines, complicated dating strategies, or tricks designed to impress people. In fact, many of the things men spend years trying to perfect have very little to do with what truly makes a woman feel good in your presence. My name is Isabella, and on this channel, we explore female psychology, attraction, relationships, and the hidden patterns that shape human connection. Today, I want to share a simple way of being that most men completely overlook, yet it can have a powerful effect on how a woman feels around you. Before we continue, if you enjoyed these conversations, make sure you stay connected so you do not miss future videos. And I would love to get to know you a little better. Tell me where you're watching from today. Which city or country are you in right now? Also, do you believe one simple way of acting can completely change how another person feels around you? Let me know in the comments because I am genuinely curious to hear your thoughts. What we are about to discuss is not about pretending to be someone you are not. It is about understanding a quality that creates trust, comfort, and attraction naturally. And once you understand it, you may start seeing human connection in a completely different way. Most men make a mistake when they are trying to connect with a woman they genuinely like. They believe attraction is something that must be earned through performance. They think they need to impress her with stories about their success, talk about their achievements, or constantly prove why they deserve attention. Some try to appear more important than they really are. Others talk too much because they're afraid that being ordinary will make them forgettable. The problem is that this approach often creates the exact opposite effect. What many men do not realize is that a woman usually feels something before she fully understands it. Long before she begins analyzing your words, comparing your qualities, or deciding what she thinks about you, her body is already responding to your presence. This happens quickly, often within moments of meeting someone. That response is not based on how expensive your watch is or how impressive your job title sounds. It comes from something much deeper. Every person carries an internal system that is constantly observing the people around them. Without thinking about it, a woman's mind and body are asking important questions. Can I relax around him? Does he seem calm? Does he feel genuine? Is there something about him that makes me feel comfortable? She may never ask those questions out loud. In fact, she may not even realize they are happening. Yet, they play a major role in how she experiences you. This is why so many men become confused. They focus on saying the perfect thing while completely overlooking the feeling they create. And in many situations, that feeling matters far more than the words themselves. The reason this matters so much is because human beings are wired to detect safety before anything else. Long before attraction grows, before trust develops, and before emotional connection begins, the nervous system is quietly deciding whether someone feels safe to be around. This process happens automatically. It is not something a woman sits down and thinks through step by step. Her body notices it before her mind has time to analyze it. For thousands of years, people survived by quickly recognizing the difference between danger and safety. Those instincts still exist today, even though modern life looks very different. When a woman meets a man, her nervous system is paying attention to things that most men never think about. Does he seem calm or agitated? Does he respect boundaries? Does he feel authentic, or does something seem off? Can I relax around him, or do I feel like I need to stay guarded? This is why some men create an immediate sense of comfort without doing anything dramatic. They are not using tricks. They are not performing. They are simply communicating something through their presence that allows another person to feel at ease. What makes this even more interesting is that the quality we are discussing today is not one single behavior. It is actually a combination of three powerful elements working together. Each one affects how a woman experiences you emotionally. When combined, they create an atmosphere that encourages trust, comfort, and genuine connection. The first element has to do with the way you move. The second has to do with the way you look at her. The third has to do with something that most people fear, but very few truly understand. And together, they create a powerful effect that many men spend years trying to achieve without realizing how simple it really is. The first part of this powerful way of being is learning how to move slowly and deliberately. This sounds simple, but it is something most people never think about. Many men move through interactions with a sense of urgency. They rush toward conversations, they rush to fill silence, they rush to impress. They rush because they are worried about losing an opportunity or making a mistake. The problem is that rushing communicates more than most people realize. When a man appears hurried, restless, or overly eager, it often creates tension instead of comfort. Even if his intentions are good, his energy can make another person feel pressured. A woman may not consciously understand why she feels uncomfortable, but her nervous system notices the difference immediately. Moving slowly does not mean moving like someone who lacks confidence or energy. It does not mean becoming stiff, awkward, or overly cautious. It simply means moving with purpose rather than urgency. Every action feels intentional. Every movement feels controlled. Instead of reacting impulsively, you appear grounded and present. This matters because calm movement sends a powerful message. It tells her that you are comfortable with yourself. It tells her that you are not desperate for approval. It tells her that you are capable of managing your emotions rather than being controlled by them. Think about the people who naturally make others feel relaxed. They rarely seem rushed. They take their time. They listen before responding. They move through the world with a sense of ease. When a woman experiences that kind of presence, something begins to change inside her. Her guard starts lowering. She stops feeling pressured. She starts feeling safe enough to simply be herself around you. And that feeling is far more attractive than most men realize. What makes slow movement so powerful is that it communicates respect without saying a single word. When a man is constantly rushing, interrupting moments, or trying to force progress, it can feel as though he is more focused on what he wants than on the person standing in front of him. But when he takes his time, the message is completely different. It shows patience. It shows self-control. Most importantly, it shows that he respects the other person's comfort level. This is one reason confident men often appear calmer than everyone else in the room. They do not feel the need to speed things up. They are not trying to prove themselves every second. They understand that genuine connection cannot be forced. It grows naturally when both people feel comfortable enough to let their guard down. If you have been enjoying this conversation so far, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. We explore female psychology, attraction, and human behavior in a way that helps you build real confidence rather than relying on tricks or games. Now let's continue. A woman notices when a man is comfortable with himself. She notices when he is not constantly seeking approval through his actions. When you move with patience, sit with confidence, and allow interactions to unfold naturally, you create an environment that feels emotionally safe. The interesting thing is that most men believe confidence is something loud and obvious. They imagine it as dominance, attention-seeking, or being the center of every conversation. In reality, some of the strongest confidence is completely quiet. It appears in the man who does not rush, does not panic, and does not feel the need to control every moment. And once a woman feels that calmness from you, she becomes much more open to the second element, which may be even more powerful than the first. It is found in the way you look at her and the feeling that look creates. The second part of this powerful way of being is the gaze. Not a stare, not the intense look some men try to use because they think it makes them appear confident, and not the nervous habit of constantly looking away because they are afraid of making a connection. The kind of gaze we're talking about sits perfectly between those two extremes. Most men get this wrong because they focus on what they want from the interaction. They look at a woman hoping she will approve of them, like them, or give them some sign that they are doing everything correctly. The problem is that people can often feel that hidden need underneath the surface. Even if the words sound confident, the energy feels different. A strong but kind gaze comes from a completely different place. Instead of looking at her to get something, you look at her because you are genuinely interested in sharing the moment with her. You are present, you are paying attention, you are listening. There is no pressure behind it and no hidden agenda. This creates a very different experience for a woman. Rather than feeling evaluated, she feels seen. Rather than feeling like she must perform or impress you, she feels accepted. That feeling is rare because most people spend conversations thinking about what they will say next instead of truly paying attention. The secret is not in the eyes themselves. It is in the mindset behind them. When you are comfortable with yourself and genuinely curious about another person, your gaze naturally becomes warmer and more inviting. And when a woman feels that level of presence, trust begins to grow because she senses that you are fully there with her instead of trying to get somewhere else. What makes this kind of gaze even more powerful is what happens on the receiving end. When a woman feels that she has your attention without feeling pressured by it, she begins to relax emotionally. Most people spend their lives around others who are distracted, impatient, or focused mainly on themselves. Genuine attention has become surprisingly rare. That is why it stands out so much when someone offers it sincerely. A strong but kind gaze does not communicate, "Look how confident I am." It communicates something far more meaningful. It says, "I see you. I am here with you. I am paying attention." That feeling creates a sense of connection that words alone often cannot achieve. Many men assume attraction is created by saying the perfect thing. They spend countless hours worrying about conversation techniques, clever responses, and how to appear interesting. Yet, some of the strongest moments between two people happen when very little is being said at all. They happen when someone feels understood, acknowledged, and valued in a simple human way. This is also why authenticity matters so much. If you are looking at a woman while secretly hoping for validation or approval, she will often sense the tension behind it. But when your attention comes from genuine curiosity and appreciation, the experience feels completely different. There is no pressure, there is no performance, there is simply presence. As this feeling grows, another interesting thing begins to happen. The conversation becomes less important than the connection itself. You stop worrying about filling every second with words. She stops feeling the need to constantly respond. Both people become more comfortable simply sharing the moment. And that naturally leads to a third element, the one most men fear the most: silence. Not awkward silence, not uncomfortable silence, but the kind of quiet that creates trust, closeness, and emotional depth. The third part of this powerful way of being is learning to become comfortable with silence. This is where many men struggle because silence makes them nervous. The moment a conversation slows down, they feel pressure to say something. They start searching for topics, telling stories, asking random questions, or filling every gap with words because they fear the silence means something is wrong. But that fear often creates the very awkwardness they are trying to avoid. A comfortable silence is completely different. It is not empty, it is not tense, it is not a sign that the connection has disappeared. Instead, it is a moment where two people can simply exist together, without feeling the need to constantly perform for each other. In many ways, it is one of the strongest signs that genuine comfort is developing. Think about the people you trust most in life. You do not feel pressure to talk every second around them. You can sit together, share a moment, and enjoy each other's company without needing endless conversation. That level of comfort creates a feeling of safety that words alone cannot provide. This is especially powerful in today's world. Most people are surrounded by constant noise. Notifications, messages, videos, music, and endless distractions compete for attention every minute of the day. Because of that, a person who is comfortable with quiet stands out immediately. When a woman notices that you are not afraid of a pause in the conversation, she senses confidence. She senses emotional stability. She senses that you are comfortable with yourself. And when someone is comfortable with themselves, it becomes much easier for other people to feel comfortable around them as well. That is why silence, when handled correctly, becomes more than the absence of words. It becomes a space where trust, connection, and attraction quietly begin to grow. When these three elements come together, something very interesting begins happening beneath the surface. The slow movement, the kind gaze, and the comfortable silence all send the same message to a woman's nervous system. They see her that she does not need to be on guard. They tell her that she can relax. And when people feel safe enough to relax, they begin revealing who they really are. This is not about using a technique to make someone like you. It is about understanding how human beings naturally respond to calm and genuine presence. A rushed person often creates tension. A distracted person creates distance, but a calm person creates space for connection. There is also a biological side to this. When people feel comfortable around someone, the body starts producing chemicals associated with trust, bonding, and emotional connection. The nervous system shifts away from alertness and becomes more open to interaction. This is why a woman may suddenly seem warmer, more engaged, or more relaxed without either of you consciously deciding anything has changed. You may begin noticing small signs. She smiles more easily, she holds eye contact a little longer than before, she starts leaning towards you during conversation. Her voice may soften, she may play with her hair, touch her neck, or seem unusually attentive to what you are saying. These behaviors are often subtle, but they reveal that she feels comfortable in your presence. What makes these signs important is that they happen naturally. They are not forced. They appear when someone's guard starts coming down and genuine interest begins taking its place. And that leads to the most important part of all. Because none of this works if it comes from a place of manipulation. The real power comes from being authentic, not from trying to manufacture attraction. The most important thing to remember is that none of this should ever be treated like a trick, a strategy, or a way to control another person. The moment you start thinking of it that way, you lose the very quality that makes it effective. Women are often much more perceptive than men realize. They can usually sense when someone is being genuine and when someone is simply acting a certain way to get a result. That is why authenticity matters more than anything else we have discussed. Move slowly because you are genuinely comfortable with yourself, not because someone told you it creates attraction. Look at her with kindness because you truly value the person in front of you, not because you are hoping for a reward. Be comfortable with silence because you do not feel the need to constantly prove your worth, not because you are following a technique. When these qualities come from a real place, everything feels different. Your confidence becomes natural rather than forced. Your presence becomes calming rather than intimidating. Instead of trying to impress people, you begin creating an environment where they can relax and be themselves. This is why the men who leave the strongest impression are often not the loudest, the richest, or the most impressive on paper. They are the men who make others feel safe, understood, and comfortable. They are the men who know how to be fully present without demanding attention. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure you subscribe and stay connected for future videos. And before you go, I would love to hear from you. Which of these three qualities is the most difficult for you right now? Moving slowly, maintaining a strong but kind gaze, or becoming comfortable with silence? Let me know in the comments. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more comfortable with who you already are. And when a woman feels that calm confidence from you, she often remembers it long after the conversation has ended.